What you need is called self-discipline. That's an excerpt from Way of the Warrior Kid by Jocko Willink. I'm James, a father of 4 in my 40s, seeking greater fulfillment and personal growth, and this is what I've learned. This is the story about Mark and his uncle Jake, who comes to live with him for the summer and helps him with some of his goals and fears. And he had to wake Mark up early in the morning for one of their workouts. Uncle Jake gets into him and he says, "I made you get up. That's called imposed discipline. When someone else makes you do what you want to do, what you need is called self-discipline. That is when you take control of yourself, when you push yourself, when you make yourself do the hard things. That is what gives you freedom." Does that make sense to you? I think it does. I told Uncle Jake, "You need to do better than think it does. You need to understand. Explain to me what you think self-discipline means." Mark says, "I was nervous because I wasn't 100% sure I understood, but it did make sense to me, so I figured I would give it a try. And it's not that I had much choice anyway, with Uncle Jake staring at me, waiting for an answer." "I think it means this, Uncle Jake," I told him. "We all want freedom in life. We want to be able to do what we want. We want to live free. But in order to get freedom, we have to work for it. Work hard. We have to earn that freedom. Freedom requires discipline. So even though sometimes discipline seems like it is trapping you and making you do things that you don't want to do, discipline is the thing that will set you free. Discipline equals freedom. Discipline equals freedom." I remember the first time I was reading this with my boys as we were getting ready to go to sleep, and just thinking about that principle about discipline equal freedom, and thinking about change and personal growth and development and leadership and leading my own life and making changes in my life and being disciplined as a father and as a husband and as a leader in the workforce. And I would think about that and like, what about motivation? Like, shouldn't you be motivated to do things? Isn't there something to that? The motivation to get things done? Well, little did I know that as I kept reading, Uncle Jake and Mark get into motivation. Uncle Jake says, "That's right, Mark. Perfect. Discipline equals freedom. Let's get up and get to work." "Is that what keeps you motivated, Uncle Jake?" I asked, wondering how he stayed so fired up all the time. "Motivated?" Uncle Jake replied. "I don't worry about motivation because motivation comes and goes. It's just a feeling. You might feel motivated to do something and you might not. The thing that keeps you on course and keeps you on a warrior path isn't motivation, it is discipline. Discipline gets you out of bed. Discipline gets you on the pull-up bar. Discipline gets you to grind out in jiu-jitsu class. If you do these things only when you are motivated to do them, you might do them only 50% of the time. Sure, it's nice when motivation is there, but you can't count on motivation. You have to rely on personal discipline you develop. Like you said, discipline equals freedom. Got it? Discipline equals freedom. And that personal discipline that you develop. So what are you doing to develop your personal discipline? How are you keeping track of the things that you want to do? Are you sharing those things with a mentor, a coach, a friend? How do you know that you're on the right course? Are you being disciplined? And are you reporting it? If you're not, let's get at it. Let's do that. Feel free to leave me a comment. If you agree that discipline equals freedom, you don't have to agree with Jocko Willink. If you have not picked up this book and reviewed it for yourself and for your children, do so. It is highly recommended by myself. We'll continue to go through this book in future videos.